Hey, Nerd Nation! It's your boys, Amp and Kenny. What's up,
Football
Kenny?
time.
Yes,
Football
it is.
time.
It is football time.
Who says that? It's
Mike,
football time. Yeah.
the footballers. Kenny, today open training camp. No, yesterday open
Yesterday,
training
man.
camp
Come
for the
on.
Giants. Giants open yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what that
Back
means.
in full swing.
Back in fantasy mode, back in football mode. It is our time to shine. We took
Yankees are
a.
in first place, but I
That's
forgot
true.
about them already.
That's true.
Giants are back. I forgot about them already. The Knicks have been playing with my heart for the last 2 weeks. Since Shams tweeted out that the Jazz and the Knicks were talking about Donovan, I haven't known peace. Okay? I haven't known peace since that day because all I know is how to refresh Twitter. And nothing happens. And every day there's a new rumor like, oh, it's happening today. It's happening today. It doesn't happen. It's not gonna happen. I feel he's gonna end up just staying in Utah, which honestly is not the worst for both teams. So
The NBA is being really annoying right now because there's just nothing happening between the KD talk and the Mitchell talk, and
well, it's the KD talk, the Mitchell talk, plus the fact that Rudy Gobert got traded for
bro,
the
for
entire for all of
yeah.
Minnesota, including all the lakes.
Thanks
Like
for thanks for ruining the NBA trade market,
it
Minnesota.
literally ruined it because like nobody's giving up more than that for anybody.
No,
And a guy like KD is worth more than Gobert.
and
And
also teams don't have that much ammunition. You know what I mean?
I think
And
he definitely doesn't. The Miami Heat.
yeah,
Yeah,
obviously because
you guys are
we're trying to win here. We don't
you
we
guys are
don't we don't
you
have a
guys,
stockpile of picks.
you guys are just gonna run it back with the same crew.
What else choice do they have now?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. They have no choice.
I don't know,
You
man.
got run it back.
So let's kick it off, man. We're gonna break down the divisions. We're gonna start with the NFC East.
Yeah. Just don't
or
want how relevant or irrelevant they are in fantasy.
yes,
Every position.
guys that we like, guys that we don't like. So let's go ahead, kick it off with the Cowboys.
They suck.
America's
They
team,
are.
right?
I hate them all. Yeah.
So who would you want on your fantasy team? We're talking redraft right now. From Dallas.
Dak has to be Dak or CD have to be like they're like the safest picks on
But
Dallas.
also think about where they're going in the draft. You know what I mean?
Yeah. CD is going at his ceiling. That's the thing that kind of like scares me. Like people think like this is his breakout year.
Yeah.
Gallup is hurt today. He came out and said like he won't be ready by week 1. Like it's not reasonable to think that. Amari Cooper departed. Right, he's in Cleveland now.
Why?
I know why I say it like that. Not the earth, not this world.
He's still alive.
He's still with us, just in Cleveland, which honestly is
actually what's worse.
Yeah. So yeah, I got so red. Yes. So he is no longer with us. So no, for real. So they have no receivers. They have CD and a rookie, right? That's pretty much it until Michael Gallup comes back, which could be October, November, who knows, right? So, but like you said, it's where is he? His ADP, where is he going? And like I feel like
he's going second round.
That's a ceiling to me. That's a ceiling.
True. I mean, what can like. What's the what? How can I can't even think right now. Like, what higher can he go? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because look,
top like Cooper Kupp, Justin.
That's what I said. So first round is like 5-6 running backs, right? And then you have the top tier receivers, which, in my opinion, this is my top tier receivers. It's Jamar Chase, Jefferson, Kupp, Diggs. I'm forgetting somebody else.
Adams or Hill.
Adams. I'll put Adams there. And then there's like that second tier, which is still elite. That second tier is still elite. But, and honestly, even Adams is kind of like on the cusp of that. Like, I wouldn't,
to me, it's the 3. Jamar, Justin Jefferson, and Kupp. And then that next tier is
Stephon Diggs is in that group with Josh Allen and Buffalo poised. We'll save that for the AFC East episode.
Okay. Yeah.
But CD's in the very next group, which will be like the start of the second round or any time in the second round. And I just feel like there's no room for failure, right? Like if you're drafting him there, you're drafting him to be your wide receiver 1, which is a little scary. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I think he's still going to ball.
So let's say you have an early pick or whatever in the first round, and you go running back, right? Would you rather Lamb or Deebo Samuel?
I think that's tough.
Really?
Yeah, and that's only because Deebo doesn't want to be used the way he was used last year as a running back anymore, and he has a different quarterback now. Trey Lance is gonna maybe be more the hit the big bomb, which will benefit him, but also he runs too, which is also gonna hurt Deebo. So I'll probably go CD, honestly.
To me, it's a no-brainer. I'm taking CD Lamb.
Yeah, I think I'll take CD.
You remember I traded for CD Lamb last year during our redraft league.
Yeah,
I took him in the Dynasty Dogs draft as my number 1 receiver. I'm all in on CD. I think he's gonna go off this year. I am expecting him to return the value of where you're drafting him. So I like CD. I'll be honest. Nobody else from Dallas in that the top tier names except I'll take Schultz. I would take the.
Oh no, Schultz is a top 6, 7 tight end.
I'm more of a late round tight end drafter. That's the only thing.
Well, I'm in more early.
Bro, he's going to be a top 6 tight end drafted.
Yeah, but round wise, I mean, he's not going. Okay. He's not going in the top 5, 6 rounds. You know what I mean? No. So like, I think he's worth the value as well. I like him more in redraft than I do in dynasty, only because he didn't sign that contract.
Yeah.
Right. So and they drafted a tight end. So
did they?
Jack Ferguson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
the contract,
and I have him. I think in both my dynasty leagues.
I think you have him in both.
Yeah. So
I agree. The dynasty thing is tricky because he can go somewhere for big money and fall off the face of the earth.
Yeah, exactly. Like at least here, like I don't think Dak is a top 5 quarterback, but I think Dak is a good enough quarterback to sustain Schultz's fantasy value.
Plus, you know what I mean? He's the number 2 option right now. A high caliber offense.
What's supposed to be a high caliber offense? We'll see.
We'll see. You taking Zeke in the 2nd or 3rd round?
It honestly depends on how it falls. How my team's set up. Like maybe I think Zeke is gonna have a good year. Like I do. I think Zeke is gonna. Zeke was still good last year. And for some reason, it just seems like he wasn't that good. Like, I don't know if maybe it was more big games and then some duds or what it was, but I think he was a top. Can you look it up real quick?
He finished 7th.
I was gonna say top 6. Okay, but so I was close. Yeah, he finished 7th. It doesn't feel like he did, but
he played 17 games.
Yeah, man, and as the fantasy footballers, they love to mention about how vacated targets tend to benefit
running back.
So
the thing is, you know why it doesn't feel like he did so great last year? He averaged, actually, it's not the worst average. Points per game, he averaged 14.7 points, so almost 15 points a game.
Yeah.
But he didn't have those big games, and I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to give you that 10 to 18 point cushion, which is good, but he went 1st round last year.
Yeah. He's not going 1st round.
I took him in the 1st round.
He's going 2nd, 3rd round.
He's going 2nd, 3rd.
Yeah. So I like him. And then besides that, there's not much. There's a sleeper, which
I think we have the same sleeper.
Which I have him in, and I got him in our rookie draft. Who are you thinking of?
Who are you thinking of? You got him in your rookie draft.
Who are you thinking of? I'm thinking of the rookie receiver.
Jalen Tolbert.
Tolbert, yeah.
Which league did you get him in?
Maybe Dynasty Dogs or Dynasty Nerds.
You don't have him in the Nerds.
I'm about to tell you right now. I have him in one of them. So, there is no other receiver. Like you said, it's literally just him. I think I got him in Did I not get him in either league?
You have him in the dogs. Dynasty.
Okay, I was about to say, like, am I
Yeah.
going crazy?
Yeah.
Maybe it's, I did like 100 mock drafts. Maybe I was just thinking one of those. But besides CD, the ball has to go somewhere else. So, and like apparently this kid like is impressing. Like
I would take him with my second to last or last pick.
Yeah,
for sure.
I like him at least until Gallup comes back, and even then, once Gallup comes back, he's not gonna be 100%. It's off an ACL, and we all know like the first year of an ACL is not the same. Like it's always that second year when guys return to form. So
AP plays insane.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my sleeper. I thought you were gonna go with a different sleeper.
Who?
Your boy.
Pollard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people think that it's gonna be more of a.
The thing is, I still think Zeke's gonna get the bulk of the carries because of the money.
Yeah, the money.
Like,
and
what are you gonna do?
And he's
not use him?
Yeah.
I mean, you still got to use him. If you're paying him, you still got to use him. So it's gonna be, I would say, like a 65-35%.
Yeah, but in Ezekiel Elliott injury, Tony Pollard could be a top 10 running back.
But Zeke doesn't really get hurt, man.
Even when he does get hurt, he keeps playing injured.
He just plays through it. Yeah.
Which I think is kind of what he did last year. That kind of made us think
that his year wasn't as good as it was.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was the best low key season.
Well, also hold on, that he finished RB7. It's a little misleading. If I remember, the running backs in general did not have a great year.
Well, it's because so many teams now have running backs by committee.
Mm-hmm.
There's only a few running backs that's going to get all the work. You know what I mean? And even those guys are in question now. Like going into this season, there's talks about Nyheim Hines getting involved. There's talk about Derrick Henry getting a reduced workload because he
finally broke down.
Yeah, and he's a huge guy. He's a huge guy playing running back, and he's gotten overworked the last few years. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Even Austin Eckler, they finally drafted a running back that people think can actually play. In Isaiah Spiller.
Spell him.
Exactly. So we'll see. Yeah.
So that's who else is the top running back?
Cook, but Cook's always hurt.
Always hurt.
Mark it down. He's going to miss 2 to 3 games a year.
Aaron Jones has AJ Dillon
knocking on the door. Yeah, that's a close.
That's why there's no top.
And McCaffrey was hurt. McCaffrey's the RB1, but he was hurt. You know.
So that's why.
So Dallas.
We'll see.
Dallas is actually they didn't improve at all this year. They lost pieces. I don't think they added any significant player this offseason.
Not on offense, that's for sure.
No, because they lost. I think they lost 1 or 2 linemen. We took one of them.
Yeah.
And then they lost Cooper. I don't care how old Cooper, how much money he's making. He's still Amari Cooper. He's still good.
I think their defense improved just simply off experience, like going into another year with Parsons, Diggs. You know what I mean? So I think their defense is still going to improve, even though they might not have added anybody. And as much as I hate to say it, I think they're the favorites to win the division.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Honestly, again, this division is always up for grabs.
Well, we haven't had repeat winners.
Is it like 10 years?
I think more. I think like 12 years, something like that. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So let's jump to who I think might
steal it.
Might steal it. Or actually might take it again. Because didn't Philly win it last year? They won the division.
So. Did they?
They made the playoffs.
Excuse me.
Philly made the playoffs. So
Philly.
Let's go ahead and talk about Philly. Fantasy pieces, you got obviously Jalen Hurts.
Top 5 fantasy running back.
You got quarterback. You got AJ Brown.
Yeah.
Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, and then
Devonta Smith was good, man. For a rookie, he was good last year. He's another one that didn't seem like he did that well, or not that he didn't do well, but just kind of went unnoticed.
Well, let me put it this way: he didn't break any rookie records.
Yeah.
in a year where Jamar Chase and Jalen Waddle broke records.
Yeah.
But if Devonta Smith
Well,
did what he did in any other class, we'd be all over him.
but I think he, yeah. I mean,
He had a good year.
I was gonna say Jalen Hurts had a better fantasy year than real life, and I feel like maybe that hurt Devontae Smith, like the fact that he was actually doing well in real life. That makes sense. But like he's good, like he's really good, and I think having AJ Brown, you might think that might hurt him, but actually I think it might help him. Like I mean, defenses do have to worry about Devontae Smith, but AJ Brown is the biggest fear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think.
Let me ask you this: second round pick, AJ Brown or CeeDee Lamb?
I think I go CD only because I think CD might be more consistent.
Okay.
AJ Brown, even when he was in Tennessee, he was never really consistent.
He was a little frustrating.
He was consistently off the field, but yeah,
that's the thing. No, he was on and off the field hurt.
Yeah, but he has those monster games.
Yeah,
like insane games.
I remember he came.
In
back.
best ball, he's your best friend.
Yeah.
So
I remember he came back from the injury towards the end of the year, had like 15 catches, 180 yards, like just went insane.
Yeah.
But then that's what he does. So he's the definition of boom or bust.
Yeah. So he is gonna help Jalen Hurts a lot.
Yeah.
I think Jalen Hurts is gonna be a top 5 fantasy quarterback.
Yeah.
He like running wise, he did that last year. But now you give him a real target besides Devontae Smith, and he has 2 guys now that can catch the ball. Like that can't hurt him. You know what I mean? It can only help him. So I think, I don't know about real life football, but I think fantasy wise, he's gonna be a stud.
Like I take QBs late. I took Brady late last year. I don't remember who I took the year before.
I only care about Dynasty, and I have him in one league. So
true.
I traded Deshaun Watson for him. Not straight up, but yeah.
Yeah. So Jalen Hurts is making me think about taking a QB early this year. Honestly, man. Round 4, or maybe not 4, but round 5.
There's only two quarterbacks that I would think about drafting early, and which is Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts.
So Allen, you're talking 3rd round, right? Like you don't take a QB before the 3rd round.
Yeah.
I mean, you shouldn't take one before the 8th round, but that's different.
Yeah.
No.
But those are the only 2 guys that where they're going in drafts, I know they'll return that value. Like that's not me talking, not believing in Patrick Mahomes or Herbert, whoever else. But I just feel fantasy wise, these 2 guys I can't really miss with.
I would throw Lamar in there, only because again, he can give you that edge where he can outscore Pat Mahomes or Herbert, even if he has a subpar game because of his legs.
So yeah, that's true.
You know, but as far as Philly, honestly, the running backs,
Miles Sanders. He said, "Don't draft him."
He did say that.
He said, "Don't draft me."
I kind of like Gainwell as a late pick. I'm kind of like him in Dynasty.
Stop it.
But no, I mean late. Like
stop it.
Like
no, I think
you can pick him up.
I think Sanders is fine. I think he's a fine young man. I think he's a fine running back. Like
yeah, but for fantasy, he's you can't have him. You can't start him.
Where's he going?
Also, I don't know exactly, but also Philly is very annoying because there were games last year where Gainwell was the clear-cut only guy there, and then they just start somebody. They started freaking Jordan Howard, the corpse of Jordan Howard. Sanders is going around guys like Elijah Mitchell, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, A.J. Dillon. I would much rather A.J. Dillon than Miles Sanders, like without a doubt.
Right now, with Aaron Jones still healthy, still involved.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
feel like A.J. Dillon, I'm taking him. Like, I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to have his games too, but I'm taking him hoping for those injured Aaron Jones weeks because they're going to happen.
Do you want to hear a board bet?
No, because it's Miles Sanders. like You know what I mean? Like,
What about Miles Sanders and Gainwell versus? No, I'm just
okay,
kidding.
no, stop it. So, but I think Sanders is gonna get more of the workload percentage wise compared to AJ Dillon, obviously.
I think
So
AJ Dillon is gonna have an amazing year. Actually, like I would take him.
you can only have such an amazing year
Okay,
when you're the second running back.
but in that sense, I think it's gonna be more. It's not gonna be like a 70-30. It's gonna be like 55-45%.
I don't think so, man.
I think it's gonna be close. We'll
I
see.
Out of those guys, you said Elijah Mitchell.
Mitchell, which honestly I don't trust San Fran. I don't want anything to do with them.
No,
I
don't trust them.
I can't trust
They
Shanahan.
have like 4 running backs, and we don't know. And any of them could be the week 1 starter.
If you walk by the facility, he's going to throw you on the field and give you 100.
Yeah.
You'll get 100 yards.
Yeah, and he does not care for your draft value.
No,
he cares about who's the best option, pretty much. Which I mean, fair. So
and who's the best option today? He does not
today.
It's insane. It's very frustrating.
So, and who was the? You give me a fourth one. You said Elijah Mitchell.
No, CEH.
I'd rather CEH over Sanders. I think CEH is going to get more of the pass work that he has before, and I don't see Ronald Jones as a real threat. So that's just me.
What about Chase Edmonds? Or Miles Sanders.
Chase Edmonds.
Yeah,
I'm on board with Chase. I was actively shopping him. I have him. I was actively shopping him in our league. Not no more. You guys missed your chance. I think he is your running back. The more they talk about it, like the more I'm like, first of all, they tampered because yes, they signed him 5 seconds after free agency started.
How the hell do they do that?
Yeah. So and they paid him to be the starter.
I think he's making $5 million a year.
Raheem Mostert is done. He's cooked.
Actually, right? there were talks that he might have to retire.
Yeah, he's cooked. All right, he's there to help the guys catch on to McDaniel's system. That's it. Like he's not seeing the field, and Sonny Michel he's decent.
I mean, he's decent, but he also was awesome at the end of the last year for the Rams. Let's not forget.
I think this is Chase's show. This is his backfield. I think he's going to be the guy. I think he's going to get a shit ton. Excuse my language. A shit ton of receptions, right? Because the Dolphins are they're gonna work in the short game. That's what they're gonna do with Tyreek Hill, with Jalen Waddle, and with Chase Edmonds. That's what they're gonna do. Yes, there'll be the occasional deep throw, but they're gonna be a short game team, and I think that can only benefit Chase Edmonds because, I think he's gonna have a really good year. So I even like them with Arizona when they played two running backs.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I like them. Plus, McDaniels comes from San Fran, which we're talking about. They put anybody in there. Not only will they pick you up off the street the week of the game, but they'll make you fantasy relevant that week. It's true. They can put anybody in there and they'll contribute fantasy-wise. So I'm going to hope that McDaniel brings that from San Fran, and Chase Edmonds is my guy. He leads me to a championship. So
anyone on this team that you are just X, do not draft. I don't want them at all.
Goddard.
Really?
Couldn't pay me to take him.
Okay.
I see him there while I'm doing mock drafts, and even in mock drafts, I don't care to take him. Okay. I don't even want to see him on my team. And that's not. Why should I? What year is he going into? And I feel like every year, like, oh, this might be the year. Finally, they got rid of. Yeah, Zach Ertz is gone. I don't care. I don't care.
Okay.
Plus, he has a running quarterback. I do not care for Dallas Goddard. He's like people like ADP wise, he's like a top 12 tight end, top 10 tight end.
No, he's definitely top 10. He's more like He's 8th right now. Tight end
Hell
8th.
no.
So, but look, would you rather him or Ertz or Dawson Knox?
Both of them.
Okay. I'll tell you what, I'd skip all three and I would take Cole Kmet like
Oh yeah.
much later.
I think I have him in both my leagues too.
You do.
Yeah.
I do like Cole Kmet, but we'll get to
Yeah.
them. We'll get to them later.
Yeah.
All right, let's start. Let's move on to the 13.
Football time.
The New York Football Giants. Kenny, take it away.
Draft Kadarius Toney in every draft you have.
Okay.
Get him everywhere.
Say it one more time for the people in the back.
Get him everywhere. Everywhere. As long as he's on the field, that guy, he's a superstar. He really is. He is a freak of nature. He's not human. And as long as he's on the field, no matter how Daniel Jones performs or anything else, he's gonna ball. And now we actually have a offense of this century. You know what I mean? With Dave's there as coach, and
you just drop a nickname. Is that a thing, Dave's?
Oh yeah, that's what they call him. They call him Dave's. Right. Nobody calls him
Brian Daboll for the rest of the
NFL
fans.
Dave's. His name is Dave's. Okay.
Okay.
Like him and Kafka, which is he was with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Like it's only been 2 days of training camp and training camp's narratives or whatever, but the offense already is showing a lot more motions and everything else that the Giants have never done.
Look, even forget training camp. Just the fact that you added a coach with an offensive mind, not freaking Jason Garrett and Joe Judge.
We added a head coach and an offensive coordinator to come from probably the 2 best offenses over the last 2-3 years.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is Kansas City and Buffalo. Like,
and honestly, that little sample size of Toney last year,
he is electric.
Yeah,
he is one of those few guys that have that Tyreek fast twitch. Like he's nasty, bro.
He's a league. He's going outside the top 100 picks,
which is because I think it's more of the injury thing, and plus, I think people outside that aren't Giant fans think that we're gonna still run the same kind of offense, right? Because it's still Daniel Jones' quarterback, and because of like how our offense was the last 2 years, and I think it's gonna be night and day. At least the way the offense is ran, the type of plays that they call, I think it's gonna be completely different. So, as long as he stays healthy, I love Toney. Like and redraft. And if you get him where he's going right now, steal. Literally league winner. If you get him where he's going right now, probably as kept as the season gets closer and if he stays healthy during training camp, his value is going to start going up because already yesterday he made some ridiculous catch. Like that's going to keep those videos will keep going around. The narrative will start to change, and then his value will start to rise. But for right now, and which if you're drafting right now, I don't know what you're doing. There are people that
there's a lot of leagues. That
I know, but I'm saying like that's crazy to me. You draft it.
You got to pick a side of the table, right? Do you want to wait for the injuries to pass? That way you don't draft, somebody that just tore their ACL, or do you draft with the knowledge of what we just said? Is that Toney's going to rise up in value? Let me get him in the 10th round instead of the 7th.
Yeah,
So a guy that I like for the Giants, and I have given him flack. I've made fun of him to you specifically for the last couple of years. I'm in on Saquon Barkley this year.
So, like I said, only been 2 days, but I'm telling you, the offense will be night and day. Like
I don't even care about that, to be honest with you.
No, but it doesn't. It doesn't matter.
No,
because they're literally lining him up everywhere. Because Saquon is a receiver, man. Like he's like McCaffrey. He can play like a receiver. You can line him up out wide. All right, it doesn't matter. And for some reason, Jason Garrett decided I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to use any of my. Last year, the first 2-3 games of the season, I thought Daniel Jones was going to be a relevant fantasy quarterback because they were actually running with him. He was doing well fantasy wise. Well, too well because Jason Garrett decided that he would never want to see him run ever again. Jason Garrett literally went away from every player's strengths. Already, they're lining him up, Saquon everywhere. They're lining him up as a receiver. Again, go
And
ahead.
they
Sorry.
should. Who's your backup running back?
Matt Breda.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, what I was gonna say.
Wandale Robinson.
Okay. Anyways, what I was gonna say is that they should use him more in different packages, in different spots on the field. And if you had let's say you had a respectable number 2, right?
First of all, Matt
That
Breda is
way,
fast as hell. So
no, stop it. Matt Breda is nothing, man.
he's a backup. He's a good backup.
You don't want him as your number 2. Anyways,
you're talking about because when he was with the Dolphins, I'm not counting off.
He was also the Bills, and he got
the Bills who don't run the ball.
Anyways,
and actually, he ended up being their guy for a little bit last year.
Yeah, but
for 2-3 games.
Anyways, my point is that they should try to put him all over the field to reduce the carries just going up the middle and taking those hits. But here's my thing: why I'm optimistic on Barkley is because his injuries were not like the wear and tear injuries. You know, they were flukes. Didn't he trip on somebody?
Bro, okay, so first of all, how we mentioned earlier about Gallup, this is Saquon's second year removed from the ACL tear.
Yeah.
Right? Like last year, he was literally coming back from it, right? And then he had this the dumbest injury. Like not his fault. He was backpedaling. And he literally stepped on somebody's foot there and he rolled his ankle. Like that was just the worst luck ever. It wasn't he didn't get hurt in the game. He didn't get hurt playing football. Literally, it was in between snaps. Like it's so yeah, like you said, it's not a wear and tear. It's not he can't take NFL contact. Like there's some guys who just can't. What's the word I'm looking for?
They're not built for for the NFL.
Yeah, exactly. That hasn't been his problem. His literally it was an ACL tear and then a freak of an accident.
So can we agree that outside of Barkley and Tony, the rest of this team is not fantasy relevant at all?
I think, well, define fantasy relevant because
are you drafting them in a standard PPR redraft league?
Kenny Galladay is getting drafted in every league, in every single league.
Okay,
he's getting drafted, and again, Jason Garrett didn't like to call things that help people's benefit.
Well, Galladay was hurt last year.
How big is Galladay? He's a huge target. Didn't even look his way in the red zone. Never called anything that would get him the ball in the red zone. I think that completely changes. I think at worst, Kenny Galladay is going to be a red zone target. Like I don't think he's going to be in between the 20s type of guy. Like, but I don't think he's not this team's wide receiver 1. That's Tony. Like, but I think that he can still be fantasy relevant. He'll have his weeks, but
okay. I honestly don't think anyone else on the team is fantasy relevant.
Well, the other 2 guys, which are going to be starters week 1, like
who?
Which is Wandale Robinson as a wide receiver 3, right? Which
wait, you don't have Sterling Shepard anymore?
He tore his Achilles last year.
Okay.
He's still on the team, but like he's going to be more of an October or November type of guy. I think Wandale is going to ball only because I feel like they drafted him specifically because they want to use him. They know how they want to use him, and they're going to use him in the backfield. They're going to line him everywhere, and he might be one of the best route runners on the team. Like he's nasty, bro. And he's not 5'8". If he's 5'8", I'm 5'4". I seen pictures of.
Why is he listed at 5'8" everywhere?
No, he's not. Not everywhere. Some people have him listed at 5'11", right? And I've seen pictures of him standing next to Saquon, who's 6 foot, and they look almost the exact same height. Either he is 5'8" and Saquon's 5'9".
Why is he yelling?
Because I think Wandale could end up being the wide receiver 2 on this team. Like I think they're gonna use him a lot. They're gonna use him a lot. Like at least if he won't be efficient, I think he's gonna be volume. Like I think they're gonna use him a lot. So, okay. And I think he's gonna get some carries even this year. Like, which all that just helps fantasy wise, even if they're not amazing. You know what I mean? So
Mhm. All right.
I think this regime loves Wandell. Like he went over some guys that people had projected going before him in the draft. Like I think Pickens and Watson. He went.
No,
I'm pretty
those
sure.
guys. Those guys were second. Watson was a second round pick, I think.
What do you think Wanda Robinson was?
He went in the second round.
You also know who led all of football, all of college football last year in yards?
Reggie Bush.
No, that was your
Was it?
boy.
Was it Wanda Robinson?
Wanda Robinson led all of college football in receiving yards. I'm gonna tell you right now. Hold on. Let's see who he went before. So Wanda Robinson went in the second round before John Mitchie, which let's hope he gets better. Twig, Tyquan Thornton,
Who
right?
apparently should not have gone there.
George Pickens, Alec
Really?
Pierce, Sky Moore.
Really?
Sky Moore was the
Ahead of my boy Sky Moore?
yeah, I think that's, and then it's a big drop off all the way
Yeah.
to Velus
Okay.
Jones. So
So
the team, I think this regime, they love him because they his skill set fits what Dave's and them want to do on offense. So
Okay.
I think he can be a real good sleeper. I think he's a great fantasy get, and I think in best ball, I would love to have him. Get him everywhere in best ball, because even if he's not a weekly guy that you start in redraft, I think he's going to have some good games this year. So, and then the other rookie is Daniel Ballinger, which is the tight end. But he's a tight end. Tight ends are always irrelevant into like year 3 or year 4, and even then, like it takes tight ends forever to adjust to the NFL. But apparently, they really like him too. So we'll see. So let's end it right there, right? There's nobody relevant else in this league. I mean, in this division.
Well, let's end it with the fourth team of the division, the final team of the division, the Washington Commanders.
Did you see that their entire fan base went to training camp today? Yeah,
they
all 11 of them.
Yeah, the Manders are definitely in the dumps. The fans are not happy, as they shouldn't be. The fans need a show that they're not paying Dan Snyder anymore. Like, stop going to the games. He needs to feel it.
I think it's gonna get worse before it gets better in every aspect. I'm talking about front office. I'm talking about the on the field play. I think it's all gonna get worse before it gets better for the Manders. And they went out and they're like, we need our quarterback
now, right this second.
We need our quarterback, and there's nobody better that we're willing to pay up for than Carson Wentz. All right. Now, I'll admit, Carson Wentz is not the worst. I don't think he's the worst. But he's also not worth what they paying him and what they gave away to get him.
Yeah.
He doesn't make your team that much better. You know what I mean? To be worth all that.
He can get you to 500. He can even possibly get you into the 7th seed to make the playoffs. But that's it. So I don't know why a team
I don't think get you to the playoffs.
No, I mean he's done it in his career. That's what I mean, though. You know what I mean? He can get you to the playoffs.
Has he though?
Yeah, man. Right. Let's not forget the 3-4 years ago, he was on an MVP trajectory with the Eagles
before he tore his ACL.
Yeah, and last year, honestly, they were going to the playoffs, the Colts,
and they just choked against the Jags.
The Jags,
yeah, and that's his problem. Like, he'll make some good plays, but then he'll make the stupidest plays. You know, I can't remember which one it was last year when he threw the dumbest interception on his own 5-yard line. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think he makes the team any better.
Especially for what you paid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could have they could have went and got freaking Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or I mean, there's average guys that they could have got for a lot cheaper to give you a similar production. But we're talking fantasy.
We're talking about fantasy. He's not a fantasy option, not even in Superflex. At least Daniel Jones, Superflex wise, you think about it because he can run, right? But even then, he's a third QB and a Superflex. Carson Wentz, I don't care for at all.
But I will say, he was able to provide enough for Michael Pittman last year. Michael Pittman was very fantasy relevant, and Wentz was able to sustain him. So I do think that he can be good enough for McLaurin. He's probably the best quarterback McLaurin's ever had, which is very sad.
The thing about
McLaurin and Allen Robinson looking at each other like, bro, can we get some help? Robinson finally got some. He finally got
the
the
thing
best
about
QB.
Scary Terry is I think he's a better real life receiver than he is fantasy. I have him in a dynasty league. He kind of worries me a little bit. Like I just don't think he's that great of a fantasy receiver, and especially not where he goes in redrafts. Like if you want to look it up, give me some names that go around when he goes, and I'll tell you who I'd rather have, him or whatever other guy you give me.
Gotcha. Okay, him or Jalen Waddle?
Jalen Waddle.
Him or
especially because PPR, because if you're not playing PPR, then you're not doing fantasy correctly. But sorry, go ahead.
Him or Michael Pittman?
Michael Pittman.
By the way, when we get to the Colts, I'm all in on Michael Pittman.
I like Michael Pittman.
Him or DK Metcalf, who might be getting thrown to by Geno Smith.
See, that's it. Okay, that's a good one right there. Like, if DK had literally anybody else, I'll say DK. Right? If DK had you at quarterback, I'll pick DK. But that one's tough. I don't know who I would take there. Only because I think DK's the better receiver, but obviously Scary Terry is in a better position even with Carson Wentz because Drew Lock and Geno Smith are the other options.
You could just take neither.
Yeah, honestly, I'll probably take neither. Like in most redrafts that I do, even though this year I'm only doing one, I think I'm not taking either one of them. Only because there's just too much. There's too much downside for both of them.
If I had to pick gun to my head, I would take McLaurin because I do trust Wentz more than whatever the hell Seattle's got.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Antonio Gibson? No,
only injury wise. That's why the injury scare. I feel like he's always injured. They have like 3 running backs now that I think will get used. Unlike how I feel about Miami, I feel like they will use other running backs.
So here's the thing too: they made sure to get McKissick back.
Yeah,
remember he signed with Buffalo, and they were like, no, come back.
Yeah,
and he's their
they don't want to use him as a workhorse because of the injuries, which it's understandable.
Yeah.
So and then they drafted Robinson, who's gonna be their goal line guy.
Yeah.
Right. So there goes the touchdowns. So, I'm good.
I'm not touching Gibson because he's going 3rd, 4th round. I'm not touching him at all.
Yeah. No.
Again, this team is not very good. They're average.
I think Rivera gets fired mid-season this year.
Yeah, honestly, I think
he should have been fired last year.
Yeah,
like after last year.
I can see it. The defense definitely digressed last year, like big time. They went from top 3 to just terrible.
I've mentioned before. He's never been that good of a coach. No. He's only had like 2 or 3 good seasons. I think that one season they went to Super Bowl really has carried him. Like I don't think he's that good. I'm not saying I'm sure he's a respectful guy and like I like people like him because of that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like that's cool and all, but like I don't think he's that great of a football coach.
Yeah, he's never really, other than that Cam Newton MVP season that took him to the Super Bowl. What has he done? You know?
Yeah. I think he gets. Like I said, I think it's gonna get a lot worse in Washington between firing the coaches, their owner going to prison. I don't know what's gonna happen with what's his name, Snyder or whatever, and like but it's gonna get worse. But hopefully, it getting worse means that it'll get better eventually.
True. Hopefully, he has to sell the team.
Well, yeah, because the worst thing you can do is just stay right in the middle and nothing changes. You know what I mean? So look at the Giants. Like we had 3 coaches in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
it took us getting because they kept trying to half rebuild. They would fire the GM and keep the coach. Keep the coach, fire the GM. It's a mess. Finally, they cleaned house. Everybody, even Mara's brother, who was like our college scout director, whatever it was, for years, for like 3 different GMs, and it was kind of like John Mara didn't want to. Like John Mara pretty much told anybody who got hired, like, you have to hire my brother as the scout of college directing. Not that they fired him.
Oh wow.
He got removed. Like now he's like an advisor to the owner or something. Because obviously he's part of the ownerships.
Yeah.
So, but he doesn't have a role with the team anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay,
it had to get worse.
I mean, that's what the Dolphins have still do for the last 15 years. Is they fire one and not the other.
Offseason.
They did it again.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens.
We'll talk about that when we do the
so,
NFC East.
Yeah. So, any thoughts on Jahan Dotson?
Dynasty stash.
Yeah,
that's
but
it.
I would say even I wouldn't mind him as my wide receiver 5 in a redraft.
I mean, Scary Terry gets hurt.
Yeah, or even if he doesn't get hurt, I think that they're not going to blow anyone out, right?
Yeah.
So they're gonna be in games. That's what I mean. They're average enough to be in games.
I think
Dotson can be a PPR. He can,
and supposedly he's really, really good. It just sucks that he plays for Washington.
The talk was that he had the best hands in the draft.
Yeah.
So I would like him in Dynasty. I will say that.
Yeah.
So
they're tight end. I have no idea who the starting tight end is. I don't think it's Thomas. He's hurt, right?
Logan Thomas. No, he should be back.
Okay.
Yeah, he should be back. But Washington, no fantasy relevance, to be honest with you.
Just Scary Terry, and even then, that's a little bit scary. So,
so let's wrap it up. Quick question: rank the 4 QBs. I'd like to know what you think.
Fantasy wise, we're talking fantasy here, or
yes.
Hurts, Prescott, Jones, Wentz.
Okay. Now what about real life?
Dak. I don't know. The other 3, real life wise, I don't know.
I might say Wentz, but it feels gross.
I don't know. Ask me again at the end of the year. I don't know.
I'll ask you in week 4. Let's see who's still.
Because I want to see Hurts with AJ Brown, and I want to see Daniel Jones have a full season of being used the way he's supposed to be used. Because like I said, the first 3-4 weeks last year, I thought I was gonna have to start Daniel Jones because I have him in our Dynasty Superflex. I'm like, I have to start him every week. Like, he's putting up fantasy numbers. You know what I mean? But then Justin Garrett decided that design runs for Daniel Jones is a thing of the past. He's not going to do it anymore. So I want to see Hurts with Adrian Brown, and I want to see Jones with Dave's consistently calling the offense. So Wentz, we know what he is. You know what I mean? At this point, we know what he is, which is a middle. He's a stopgap type of guy. You know what I mean? So.
All right.
He might finish as the second best quarterback in this division. But he might finish dead last. So,
all right. Finally, make a decision. Who wins the division?
I think Dallas wins it, but I wouldn't surprise me if Philly wins it.
I'm gonna pick Philly. I'll go with Philly.
I don't know. I think Philly's gonna be more of a fantasy relevant team than real life, but. Who knows? We'll see.
Okay. All right,
we'll
man. See. This was good. NFC East.
Yep.
In the books. Again, first week of camp. It's football season.
Get ready for all the narratives, good and bad.
Yeah.
You're gonna hear all about it, and they're gonna be. Remember last year when
Jamar Chase
couldn't catch a football? Yeah. Remember that? But like how we always do, we'll ignore the bad ones because it's training camp. Who cares? But we'll take those good ones, and we'll let them go to our heads real quick. So, like how I am with the first days of training camp. Which I mean, but this isn't individual hype that I'm getting excited about. It's just the fact that clearly it's a different offense. Which that is, I feel like that's gonna actually translate because it is a completely different offense. You know what I mean? So we'll see, man. We'll come back next week with another division. Break it all down, and we might have to double up some weeks if we want to hit all the divisions before week 1 starts. So
let's do it, man. All right, man. All right, guys. Thank you for listening. Episode 47. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube. Give us the 5-star rating on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and we're out. Take it easy.